Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to work on some of our fundamental boxing skills that we teach in our class. We're going to teach you some drills, you can actually work on these at home. So first thing we're going to do is a basic jab. So from a good fighting position, I've got my hands up ready to protect my chin and face. I'm going to snap. I'm not going to drop my hand or do anything. I'm just going to, and you notice I step forward. That's a good jab. So that's our jab. The next thing is going to be a cross. So after we throw the jab, we're going to move and throw the backhand. Now notice how when I throw the backhand, my left hand comes right back up to protect my chin. I don't drop my hand because then I get punched in the face. So we're going to do a jab cross. That's a jab cross. Now a hook is going to be inside here. I'm going to turn my hips a little bit. So, and as soon as I finish this hook, hand comes right back on my head again. So the combination jab, cross, hook is going to be jab, cross, hook. Okay? We're going to do it fast. Hit me with that one. Okay? That's jab, cross, hook. Uppercut is going to be the same thing. It's going to be here. So I might come here, here, up. That's the uppercut. So those are our fundamental basic techniques. There are other angles. You can throw looping over the top angles, things like that. But those are our basic techniques. So we're going to do jab, cross, hook, jab, cross, hook, jab, cross, hook, cross. Okay, a little faster. Jab, cross, hook, cross, jab, cross, hook, cross. I'm going nice and light. I'm going to give it a little steam. Jab, cross, hook, cross. That's our basics. Okay? If Paul throws a hook here, I'll duck and pop up and I'll throw my cross. So if there's a hook, I'll duck. Okay? Notice how my hands stay here. If I don't have time to duck, Paul throws the hook, I'll cover, and then I'll counter with an uppercut. Cover, uppercut. Cover, uppercut. Or cover, cover, jab. Make sense? Okay. If Paul throws with this hand and I slip, this is a perfect opportunity to uppercut or throw that hook to the liver. A nice liver shot puts the guy out of commission at a pretty good clip. So I slip outside, boom, shot to the liver. Cool. Okay, great. So now we're going to go into the mechanics of some of the boxing stuff that we just demonstrated. And we're going to explain it to you in a little more detail, nice and slow. So from a good fighting stance, right? Remember we talked about this in one of our earlier videos. I have to have a good balance stance where I can move forward and backward. Otherwise, if here, I have no power in my strikes. Remember we talked before, all power comes from the ground, through the legs, through the hips, through the torso, and the hand is just the end of the whip chain. So when I'm going to box and punch, my hands are going to come up. Now you notice that we don't have gloves on. It's a big difference when you're defending when you have gloves, boxing gloves versus MMA gloves versus bare hand. This, with a big glove on it, stops a lot of area. With a bare fist, it's a much smaller blocking tool. So we want to take that into consideration when we're working on technique. But having no gloves is going to help see this technique a little better. So when we're ready to fight, my elbows are in, I'm in a good stance, Paul's my opponent, my hands are here, my chin is tucked. Very important when you box and fight to keep your chin tucked. This is the knock me out position. You get hit square across the chin with your chin up, that's where knockouts happen. This makes a lot more, it takes a lot more of the force from going up that jawline because your neck is locked down with your chin. So we're going to put our chin down, we're going to have our hands up in a defensive position, and when I want to punch Paul, right, I can either step, or if I have a good stance and Paul's close enough, I can just push my weight forward, transferring the weight from the back foot to the front foot. So as I'm going to jab, boom, boom. Now you notice that I keep my shoulder high and I keep my arm out. This protects my chin. If I drop my shoulder down, boom, comes around the corner. So as I throw the strike, I come straight from this position, straight out to here. Now my chin is protected from a counter strike. And my weight's just going to distribute forward. I'm not even moving my feet at this point in time. So without moving head movement, 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. Right back to this position, elbows in tight. And that comes, every strike has to have a foot component or you won't have any power. So if I want to throw a hook and I throw a hook way out here, over around, bad form, no power. I need to step to get the power that I need to throw the technique properly. So from this position again, we're going to box. We're going to be in this position here. A couple critical components. If I keep my head in the same position, it makes it really easy for him to know where to punch me. So if I move my head and I throw, I move my head and I throw, it gives me some advantages because my head is not staying in the same position. So one of the advanced boxing skills, we try to teach it right in the very beginning, is moving your head. So as my head is moving, right, it's easy to move. I can slip, I can block, I can duck, I can move. It all comes from having a good base and a good position. If my feet are here or way out here, this is okay for boxing, right? Because I can really eliminate a lot of techniques. This is really bad for arts that involve kicking or tackling, because this leg is hard to get out of the way if I'm in one of those really deep stances. But if I'm in more of a tie stance, now when Paul goes to kick, I can check. If I'm in a JKD and Wing Chun situation, I can check, kick here, check, kick here, check, kick those kicks. When you're fighting a system where you use kicking and punching, a little bit tighter stance is going to be better. So again, the basic jab, a punch, or a palm heel, or an eye jab, all going to be the same mechanic. Not going to change one bit. So if Paul's in my face, hey man, blah, 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 he's talking to me, pow. Palm heel, right upward through the nose. That's a jab. Same technique, except instead of hitting with a fist, I'm going to hit with a palm. It's amazing how shocking that is when you don't expect to get hit, pow, you get hit in the face. So we can fight just like this in the street, and when this doesn't hurt our hands either. If you watch some of the old fights with Bas Ruud and those guys back in the day, and they fought bare knuckle fighting, they threw a lot of punches without throwing knuckles because you'd break your hands easy. They would throw, it looked like they were slapping each other. And what they were doing is they were throwing palm heels. And the reason that they threw open handed like that was because it was very easy to hit somebody on their skull. That's like a bowling ball. You throw a punch and you hit that bowling ball, very easy to break your hand. So back in the old days, so a lot of those guys would throw techniques like this. But again, it's the same basic boxing principle. That's a hook, that's a cross, that's a jab. Doesn't matter what my hand does. But in traditional boxing, I'm going to throw here, boom, chin, cover with the shoulder. That's basics one. When I throw this hand here, same thing, this shoulder stays high and my chin stays tucked below it. Okay? With my chin tucked and covered, I can take a counter punch. Right? And my neck can absorb that punch if my chin is down, and he can't come square across the side of my chin with a hook because my shoulder is in the way. Now if he hits me in the head, it's going to hurt. But if I get knocked out, I can't fight anymore. So I have to protect my chin in a boxing and a fighting position. Hopefully that makes some sense. So same thing now, we're going to work on some footwork. If I step over here, I've now created an angle. The economy of motion says if I'm going to step over here, I might as well throw while I'm doing it so I can do two things at once. Boom. Make sense? Jab, cross. Jab, cross. And as I step, boom, go this foot's going to come back, and I can come right behind the guy. Now, in a competitive fighting situation, I'm going to have that advantage for a split second only because the guy's going to rotate and square back up again. But again, I'm not staying in front of him to get punched in the face. That's all we want to work on. Thanks. Okay, one more concept we want to cover. When I'm striking an opponent, right, I don't strike here. My strike finishes on the other side of the opponent's body. Doesn't matter what the technique is, whether it's a kick, a punch, a knee, an elbow. So if I throw a punch to Sean, my punch is going all the way through his head. I'm not throwing the punch here and stopping. My punch is going to go all the way through. If I throw an elbow, the elbow is going right through his head. If I throw a knee, for example, this knee is coming right through his body. It's not stopping here. The knee is going to come all the way through. So we want to make sure that as we strike, we're not striking to just barely touch. If I can't hit him with this strike, I have to step. and move that foot. That's what that step that we talked about in the beginning is important. Because if I just throw here, even if I hit him, I'm going to hit him with barely any force because he's just barely at the end of my reach. But if I step and go through him, that's going to have a lot of power and penetration. Okay, so now a drill you can do at home. So right now, I'm going to go jab cross, and I'm going to move. I'm moving at a 90-degree angle. So another jab cross, move 90-degree angle. Jab cross, 90-degree angle. Jab cross, 90-degree angle, I'll be back where I was. Now I can add the second combination. Jab, cross, hook. Angle. Jab, cross, hook. Angle. Jab, cross, hook. Angle. Jab, cross, hook. Uppercut. Back here. So you can work those combinations. When we drill this in our boxing classes, we hit and we move. So the other thing is I can move the other way. Jab, cross, hook. I'm over here. Okay, this is how I move. Notice how when Dave was talking about moving, bringing your feet, when I slide here, my feet move together. When I'm drilling, hands stay high. I'm not moving, hands down here, because you're going to do what you train. If you train dropping your hands, you're going to drop your hands in a real fight. So we keep our hands high, keep our feet, move our head, practice at home.